Dr. Jayraj's Literary Lens presents Part 1, After Theory, Lecture 9, Posthumanist Theory. This lecture is prepared and presented by Dr. S. Joseph Arul Jayraj, former head and associate professor of English, St. Joseph's College, Autonomous, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, India. Introduction. Humanism, which rose during the Renaissance and reached a peak in the Enlightenment, placed the human being at the center of philosophical inquiry. It celebrated human reason, autonomy, and the capacity for self-determination. Wolfe 12. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, scholars began to notice that this human-centered framework could not adequately explain the profound changes brought about by digital technologies, genetic engineering, and global ecological interdependence. Posthumanist theory emerged as a response, proposing that humans are no longer separate sovereign subjects, but are deeply intertwined with machines, other species, and planetary systems. Braidotti 23. The term posthuman does not mean that humans have disappeared. Rather, it signals a rethinking of what it means to be human in light of new material and relational realities. Haraway 148. The purpose of this talk is to provide a clear, accessible overview of posthumanist theory for readers and researchers. It will A. trace the historical roots of posthumanism, B. explain its principal concepts, and C. discuss how these ideas affect contemporary debates in ethics, literature, and the sciences. Posthumanist theory challenges traditional ideas about what it means to be human. Unlike humanism, which centers human value and superiority, posthumanism questions the rigid separation between humans, animals, and machines. Haraway. In literature, this theory is used to explore themes like technology's impact on identity, the fluidity of human-non-human boundaries, and the critique of human exceptionalism. By analyzing how authors incorporate posthumanist ideas, we can better understand modern anxieties and hopes about the future of humanity. This talk examines key literary works to show how posthumanist theory is applied to question and redefine the human experience. Literature review. From humanism to posthumanism. Humanism emphasized the autonomous subject, an individual mind capable of detached reason. Wolfe 13. Critics argued that this model ignored the ways bodies, cultures, and environments shape cognition. Early feminist scholars such as Simone de Beauvoir, and later post-structuralists like Michel Foucault, highlighted how power relations condition the subject. Foucault 45. Posthumanism builds on these critiques. It draws on science studies, feminist theory, and ecology to argue that the boundaries between human-animal, organism-machine, and nature-culture are porous. Hales 34. Theory. 1. The cyborg, a hybrid figure, is a creature in a world that is part organic and part mechanic. Haraway 149. The cyborg metaphor destabilizes binary oppositions such as human-animal, nature-culture, and mind-body. By refusing to be fully one or the other, the cyborg invites a politics of affinity that can unite marginalized groups. Haraway 152. 2. Relational ontology. Posthumanism replaces the idea of an isolated subject with a relational ontology, the belief that identities arise through connections with other beings and things. Braidotti 33. For Braidotti, the posthuman is a process of becoming through others. Braidotti 70. This view aligns with ecological thinking that sees ecosystems as networks of mutual influence rather than hierarchies. The more than human. Hales argues that the rise of information as a dominant mode of existence produces a more than human condition, in which human cognition is intertwined with computational processes. Hales 118. The term emphasizes that agency is distributed across humans, machines, and environments, undermining the notion of a singular, sovereign mind. Practice. Exploring posthumanist theory in literature, blurring the boundaries between human and non-human. Methodology. This talk is a conceptual review. The method consists of close reading and synthesis of primary scholarly texts, Haraway, Braidotti, Hales, Wolfe, and secondary literature that discusses their influence. The goal is not to present original empirical data, but to clarify how posthumanist concepts interrelate, and to illustrate their relevance with contemporary examples, e.g., AI voice assistants, CRISPR gene editing, and climate justice movements. P-Texts 1. Donna Haraway, A Cyborg Manifesto, 1985, reprinted in Simians, Cyborgs and Women, 1991. Haraway uses the figure of the cyborg, a hybrid of organism and machine, to illustrate how identity can be assembled from multiple, overlapping parts. Haraway, 148. 2. Rosi Braidotti, The Posthuman, 2013. Braidotti expands the cyborg motif into a broader philosophical stance that embraces becoming rather than being, stressing fluidity and the rejection of fixed categories. Braidotti 58. N. Catherine Hales, How We Became Posthuman, 1999. Hales examines the shift from a materialist, embodied view of the brain to an information-based model of cognition, showing how computers and digital media reconfigure the human subject. Hales 112. Carrie Wolfe, What is Posthumanism? 2010. Wolfe provides a concise definition of posthumanism as the decentering of the human, and surveys its ethical and political stakes. Wolfe 15. These works collectively shape the field, each emphasizing different aspects of the posthuman condition: technology, embodiment, and relationality. Technology and identity. Posthumanist literature often explores how technology alters human identity. In William Gibson's Neuromancer, 1984, cyborgs and artificial intelligence dominate a cybernetic future. The novel's protagonist, Case, is a hacker whose mind merges with digital networks, blurring the line between human and machine. This portrayal reflects Donna Haraway's concept of the cyborg, a hybrid entity that disrupts traditional humanist ideas of a fixed human identity. Haraway. Similarly, in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, 1818, the creature, a being stitched from human body parts, challenges the idea of a natural human. Shelley's work, though written centuries earlier, prefigures posthumanist debates by asking, what does it mean to be alive? Shelley. Both texts use technology to question whether identity is tied to biology alone or shaped by external forces. Human and non-human boundaries. Posthumanist literature also dissolves distinctions between humans and non-humans. In Paolo Bacigalupi's The Wind-Up Girl, 2009, genetically engineered new people, or wind-ups, serve humans but possess emotions and agency. These characters challenge the idea that humanity is defined by DNA. As one character, Emiko, struggles for autonomy, the novel critiques speciesism, the belief in human dominance over other beings. Similarly, Ted Chiang's Exhalation 2019 features stories like The Life Cycle of Software Objects, where AI evolves complex personalities. Chiang's work questions whether consciousness is the key to humanity, suggesting that identity might exist in non-human forms. Chiang. These examples show how literature uses posthumanist ideas to argue against rigid definitions of personhood. Critique of human exceptionalism. Posthumanist theory in literature often critiques the belief that humans are superior to nature or technology. In Richard Powers' The Overstory, 2018, trees are portrayed as sentient beings with ecological relationships that mirror human networks. By elevating the agency of non-human entities, Powers challenges the humanist assumption that humans are the measure of all things. Powers. Similarly, in Kazuo Ishiguro's Never Let Me Go, 2005, human clones raised to donate their organs face ethical questions about ownership and morality. The clones' human-like emotions force readers to confront the dehumanization of beings that resemble us. These narratives reject human exceptionalism, arguing that ethics must extend beyond the human. Discussion. 1. Technology and identity. The proliferation of wearable devices, social media avatars, and AI chatbots illustrates Haraway's cyborg vision. People now extend their bodies with smartphones that manage memory, navigation, and social interaction. This augmented embodiment blurs the line between organic and technological self. Wolfe 19. 2. Ethics of the more than human. If agency is distributed, ethical responsibility must also be shared. For example, climate change is not just a human failure, but a systemic problem involving atmospheric chemistry, corporate practices, and non-human species. Posthumanist ethics, therefore, calls for careful stewardship of all actors in a network, an idea sometimes called responsible relationality. Wolfe, 22. 3. Literature and the posthuman. Contemporary novels such as The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi and Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro dramatize posthumanist concerns. They portray characters whose identities are shaped by biotechnology, corporate control, and artificial consciousness, encouraging readers to imagine alternative modes of subjectivity. Hales, 138. 4. Critiques and limitations. Some scholars argue that posthumanism can be overly abstract, neglecting concrete power relations such as class, race, and gender. Stiegler, 45. Others worry that celebrating hybridity may downplay the exploitation of non-human animals and ecosystems. Braidotti acknowledges these concerns, urging a political posthumanism that remains attentive to justice. Braidotti, 115. Conclusion. Posthumanist theory offers a powerful lens for understanding a world in which humans, technologies, and the environment are inseparably linked. By moving beyond the human-centered assumptions of traditional humanism, posthumanism invites new ethical frameworks, creative expressions, and scholarly inquiries. For readers and researchers, the key points are: first, the cyborg reminds us that identity can be assembled from diverse, material, cultural components. Second, relational ontology stresses that who we are depends on the networks we belong to. Third, the more than human challenges the idea of a singular, self-contained mind. Future research should continue to explore how posthumanist ideas can inform policies on AI governance, biotechnology, and climate justice, ensuring that the decentering of the human leads to more inclusive and sustainable futures. Posthumanist theory in literature provides a framework for reimagining humanity in an age of technological and ecological uncertainty. By blending human and non-human elements, authors ask readers to reconsider identity, ethics, and coexistence. Works like Frankenstein, The Wind-Up Girl, and Exhalation demonstrate how posthumanist ideas can both unsettle and inspire. As technology advances, these stories remain vital in guiding discussions about what it means and should mean to be human.